Going live on YouTube as well. Yeah. All right, we should be live on YouTube as well. Hi, YouTube people. Can you let us know how the audio is? And can
Hi,
you hear us?
everybody.
Hi, guys. Oh, Yuval is, what's up, guys? You come through well, Armin. Okay, Yuval on Facebook is telling us that the audio is good. Pretty sure we're good on YouTube as well. Let us know if there's any problems. Ali, do you want to? We have no announcements today, right? We just want to go right into the news. So we're going to be covering the news on religion, atheism, secularism, some politics here and there if our community asks us to. By the way, every time we cover something that's just pure like politics and has no religion, then there's always that person, or like vaccinations or some other woo stuff that we cover. Some people say like, "What does this have to do with atheism?" And we're always like, "Hey, this is like we have to repeat this all the time. This is the Atheist Republic. It's a community for atheists, and atheists talk about many things, not just religion. And whatever the Atheist Republic community wants us to talk about, and whatever is getting the most attention in our community, we talk about it. It's usually about secularism, atheism, and religion, but sometimes it's about something else, which is fine." Yuval is saying LE2. Perfect. Okay. I see Beej on the YouTube live
Hi,
chat.
Beach.
Izzy, Sobham, Jack, Mars, Christy, Casey Atheist. All right. Ali, what's the first news?
First news is actually good news, guys. Yay! South Korean court rules abortion ban must be lifted. A court in South Korea has ruled that the country's decades old ban on abortion must be lifted in a historic decision that sparked celebrations in Seoul. Doctors who perform terminations could be imprisoned for up to 2 years, while women face a maximum 1 year sentence or a fine under the current law, which was before this new law. The 9 member panel ruled 7-2 that a 1953 law banning abortion was unconstitutional and ordered the National Assembly to revise it by the end of next year. The new law, under certain conditions, allowed terminations in early stages of pregnancy, and doctors no longer face criminal charges. So what's really cool about this, guys, is they not only said that they're doing this because women should have the right to choose, but they also made the statement that early on in pregnancy, an embryo is merely, like we've been saying all along, kind of a parasite. It cannot survive outside of the mother's body on its own, and therefore does not have its own right to life within her.
Okay, first of all, this is great, but also, what the fuck? Why? Like, I thought South Korea. I didn't even think South Korea this would or be banned until now. Like, I was happy to hear that it's not the ban is lifted, but I also wondered, wait, what? South Korea had a ban on abortion until now? Based on what? Was this based on religion? Or based on what?
I think more like based on tradition. It's just something that they've had for so long in place. I'm going to see if I can find exactly
Why
what.
did it take until now? Like, South Korea is like an advanced modern country that I thought they're way beyond these kind of this kind of conversation.
What
Like,
they did allow for was abortion in criminalized cases such as like rape or incest. And they also, which is I find kind of weird, it wasn't just rape or incest. It also, if a baby was discovered to have a severe genetic disorder, they allowed for an abortion before this new law. But I mean, this is just so crazy. 7-2.
yeah.
It
What
was
was the
ruled
argument from the other two?
when I like to know, just hold on to tradition. But when you look at South Korea and how many women have had to illegally get abortions there, we're talking back in 2010, they estimated it was around 169,000 women. In 2006, people are saying it's actually because of how it's been criminalized and how much women get attacked even in their social lives. They estimate that it was actually up to more like 500,000 by 2016.
Subham in the live chat is saying countries like South Korea and Japan are great countries, but they have stupid rules too. Yeah, I know they have stupid rules, but I didn't think this is going to be one of them. And I really want to know, like, okay, yeah, I understand that this was based on ancient culture or whatever, but I want to know, like, even these barbaric, backwards cultures, they at least make an attempt at making things look logical. I just want to know. I wish I know that if it's not because of Abrahamic religions, what is it in their tradition that saw this as a taboo? What was their attempt at rationalizing this? I wish I knew. Like, was it just like, oh, this is our tradition, so let's just keep a rule? I'm pretty sure they had something more to say to it than that. Because we're so used to Islam and Christianity and Judaism arguments against abortion. Um, I really wish I knew in South Korea what kind of arguments they have been using until now. Like, I mean, seriously, till now.
Since 1953 until now.
Since 1953. So before that, it was not illegal?
I would argue that
what happened in 1953? You go on.
I don't know. I would argue that probably before that it wasn't popular. A lot of women probably wanted abortions, but again, they just did it privately. And then once it started becoming a thing, I guess more people started wanting it. I would really like to know why they had it as well.
James is saying Korean society is very, very conservative. Generally speaking, younger folks aren't as much, but cultural tradition is very well preserved in that society. Yeah, apparently so. But what I would be interested in learning more about is what is the arguments they use for their conservative values in a non-Abrahamic conservative tradition. The top comment is saying good science won and the Bible thumping. Wait, what is Bible thumping? This is South Korea. South Korea does have a Christianity problem, but this I don't think not in their government, not yet at least. I don't think this has anything to do with Christianity, right? Because I know though Christianity is growing in South Korea. I mean, was growing in South Korea. I don't know. I also know a lot of people are really annoyed by it in South Korea, but I don't think this was because of Christianity. I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
We might be wrong. So if anybody does know exactly why this law was set in 1953 to begin with, please do let us know.
Jeff is saying coat hangers can finally be used for clothing in Korea. Ouch.
That's actually a good point. I mean, a lot of people don't understand, especially here in Texas. It's been brought up in our chat. The same news that we gave last week, that they're trying to give women the death penalty for an abortion. Once we get rid of Roe versus Wade, which is exactly what I think these lawmakers are trying to do in the first place. Once we get rid of that law, this is exactly what women are going to have to go back to, and it's sad. And it's disgusting, right. But even as a joke, it makes a good point. Once you ban abortion, you're not stopping abortion. You're just making it harder on the woman.
By the way, I'm really grateful. We have James in the Facebook live chat. He's saying the Korean War stopped combat in 1953. So 1953 is when South Korea was founded. So it was since 1953. Because that's when Korea started. South Korea started. Mars is saying, I don't think it's ancient culture. Correct me if I'm wrong, but hasn't Christianity found its way into South Korea? Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I heard as well. Could totally be wrong, but I think it may be part of this. I knew that Christianity is a growing cancer in South Korea. I just didn't think it would ever not be big enough for it to have any influence over rules and government. Hi, Christy. Okay, so should we go to the next news?
Yes, next news is very sad, and thank you very much, Scarlett Fox, for sharing this with us as a suggestion for us to cover tonight. Nusrat Jahan Rafi burned to death for reporting sexual harassment, and the location is Bangladesh.
What the hell?
Nusrat was 19, from Feni, a small town 100 miles south of Dhaka. She was studying at a madrasa, or an Islamic school. On the 27th of March, she said the headmaster called her into his office and repeatedly touched her in an inappropriate manner. Before things could go any further, she ran out. She went to the police with the help of her family. She was filmed by the officer in charge on his phone. as she described her ordeal. I'm just going to give another little summary here. She was actually trying to cover her face with her hands. And the officer was telling her, this is hilarious. Like, this is no big deal. Quit covering your hands. I want people to see how stupid this is. So that video that he took was later leaked to the local media. The headmaster was then arrested on March 27th, and a group of people gathered in the streets demanding his release. On April 6th, Nusrat went to school to finish her final exams. She was told that by another female student that one of her friends was up on top of a roof and they were being beaten up. So she ran up there to save her friend, but 4 or 5 people wearing burqas surrounded her, and they pressured her to withdraw her case. When she refused to do this, then she was held down, had kerosene poured all over her body, and then she was set on fire. She died on April 10th, and the police have arrested 15 people.
So she didn't die right on the scene?
No, 4 days.
Oh,
This poor girl suffered 4 days with 80-degree burns all over her body, simply for standing up to herself, saying that this man had no right to touch me. She had to break away from him before it could go any further. So clearly his intention was not just to inappropriately touch her. She felt the need to run before she was raped. And because she went to the police and she was mocked by the police, she was mocked by all the citizens in her town. Because of her refusal to just drop the case because some justice had to come to her for what happened, they killed her. And this poor girl survived 4 days with 80-degree burns all over her body. And in the first hospital they took her to, they knew that they couldn't take care of her there. So they actually had to send her to the hospital in Dhaka. And that's later where she died.
I really don't know what to say to this. The girls that burned her in burqa, were they found out? Did they find out who burned her?
So they've got a few people in mind, but this wasn't just about the burning. This was a group of people had actually come together to figure out how they were going to stop her. And from that conspiracy, this led, and that's why 15 people have been arrested. So I don't know if those people were actually the 4 people. She actually recalled one of the people being a guy that was dressed in a burqa. And the reason why her head wasn't burned, it was just the rest of her body, was because he held her head down when she refused. And as they were pouring the kerosene all over her body, they missed her head because of the way he was holding her.
Why they were trying to protect this? Who are they trying to protect? The person that...
The headmaster.
Why are they, like...
Because he's a man, I guess. And a lot of... I don't want to say just Islamic, but religious cultures, period. Men get a lot of leeway when it comes to stuff like this.
So the understanding of and this is again before any. So nobody's been arrested.
15 people have been arrested.
No, like nobody that we know for sure. Like the people that have been arrested, they're just we don't know for sure if they're the people that did this.
Right.
So until we know for sure, I mean, we could just only guess. And so the understanding is that you shouldn't complain because you're a woman. A man has right over your body, like something like that. Is that the understanding? Is that the explanation we're going with? Like, I mean, why would these people
submissive.
Go on? Sorry.
Women are supposed to be submissive. It says so in just about all religious texts, right?
Not if you're someone else's property, right? Like, not if you're someone else's daughter or someone else's wife.
Yeah, but it leaks, that idea leaks into other aspects. She's his property when she's on the school.
No, I mean, okay. So here's what I say. So yeah, I would agree that it leaks, as in like, even though there's no direct permission for this, it does influence culture in a very indirect way, the way women are seen. But if the only Islamically, is that a word? Islamically, this is not only this is not condoned, this is very anti-Islamic because and I'm not trying to defend Islam, because even the argument for why this is not Islamic makes Islam look bad, right? Because the understanding in Islam is, if you understand, if again, I know a lot of Muslims would disagree with this, but if I think the correct interpretation when you study Islam is that no man has a right to another man's daughters or wife, right? Like, it's someone else's property, and in fact, if you touch someone else's wife or daughter, then you have brought so much shame and dishonor to them that the reaction to that is actually very strong. So it's not like, oh, you're in school, so the headmaster can do whatever you want with it, with my property, which is the woman. No, this is like, you don't you dare touch my property. You know what I mean? So I'm not. So I don't think this is This could be completely blamed on Islam. Maybe you could blame it on culture.
No,
And
and I will. That's the
I
case.
admit that the barbaric culture is influenced by the barbaric influence of Islam. I just
Because
think that, yeah, go on.
if people were just following Islam when it came to that, and if people just did that, then women would not be sexually assaulted and molested when going to Mecca. Okay, because that's happening. So what it is I think that this religious idea that men are better than women, right? Because it says so in every religious text. It says so in the Bible. A man is worth more than a woman. A woman is twice as dirty if she gives birth to a girl rather than a boy. This idea that men are better than women in religious cultures brings to that effect that guys just think they can do this to women and it's okay because they're better.
Right, right. So the influence is indirect. It's not like, but it's not directly like, oh, this is condoned by Islam. Sobhan is saying, I think one can argue that she is owned by the school during her school time. I think it depends on the school rules. But Sobhan, I don't think there's nothing in Islam that tells you that, oh, my daughter that is not married while she's in school, she's your property. Like, no, there's nothing. That's not this that there's nothing Islamic about that. I just want to be. I mean, it's easy to completely blame everything on Islam directly. I don't think there's anything Islamic that supports this kind of. There's no Islamic thing that supports this kind of behavior. Like, not within the doctrine, not within the text. And I say that as somebody that attacks Islam all the time. And I admit that Islam is one of the most barbaric and hateful ideologies out there. But this behavior is not supported in Islam. In fact, this behavior is punishable by death in Islam. Actually, no. You could actually just pay blood money, I think. Yeah, you could pay blood money. I think so. Yeah. Okay, so let me see what the top comment is. Ayush is saying religion of peace, just doing peace out. Yeah, I don't think this is Islam. Again, I'm not defending Islam when I say I don't think this is Islam. I'm just trying to be as accurate as I can be. I might be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't think this is Islamic. I think this is against Islamic rules. I might accept an argument that this is influenced by Islam, but Islam as it is does not condone this. The B in Islam means basic human rights. I know people are joking. Alexander is saying, so tell me, how is the hijab or burqa is a symbol of woman liberation? Russ is saying religion poisons the mind. Elias saying headmaster protecting his reputation. Sopam is saying, I do agree with Ali that this kind of behavior usually arises from what all religions teach. Women are inferior. I think the idea that women are inferior is something that everybody kind of agreed with back then. And religion, the problem with religion is that it brings the standards of those times to today, right? Like, so it basically just carries it on to today. I don't think religion introduced the idea that women are inferior. religion just makes it sticky, just makes these ideas last longer than they should.
I don't know. I think it depends on which cultures you study.
Right. Russell is saying, how are there still members of our species that are lagging so far behind in intelligence? It's embarrassing to be a human sometimes. I don't think this is the lack of intelligence. I think this is a lack of sympathy. Okay. Should we go to the next news?
Yeah, next news out of New York. After denying a gay couple a marriage license, a New York town clerk forced to apologize. Dylan Tofton and Thomas Hurd went to go get their marriage license from the town clerk in Root, New York, but Laurel Sherry Erickson refused to give them one last August. She objected to their marriage for religious reasons. She later claimed that she denied the license because they had not made an appointment with her office. The men sued the city, saying her refusal violated the state's Marriage Equality Act, not to mention federal civil rights laws. The town Root has agreed to pay the couple $25,000, and Erickson issued an apology for her faith-based hate.
Good job. Good job, these two.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I'm happy for them for. I'm happy for them for the $25,000. I hope that they use that money and have just a glorious wedding.
No. Save that money. Modest wedding. Save the money. But go ahead.
True. Yeah. But if someone is forced to issue an apology, is it really an apology? I think that if this were my case, I could live without that. I'll take the $25,000, but keep your fucking apology.
I think it's more of a humiliation rather than an apology.
Like, yeah, because you have to humble yourself. What she said as her apology to these people, I am sorry for any harm or inconvenience my action caused the couple.
Oh, actually, now I'm angry. Did she not lose her job?
No.
Okay, yeah, now this is not good story. She should have, I mean, I'm glad, these two guys are heroes because they didn't just take bullshit. They're like, no, fuck that shit. You don't get to treat us like this. So good job, you two. But they should have been fired.
Yeah.
I mean, if they were like, if she said, yeah, sorry, for religious reason, I don't marry Jewish people, I'm pretty sure she would have lost her job by now, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that if she said something like that, or she said like, sorry, black people, no, not my thing. I don't marry black people. If black couples coming here, sorry, it's against my beliefs. I'm pretty sure she would have lost her job by now.
Right.
So why is this? Why does she still have her job?
She still has her job, and all she had to do is give some, like, that's not even a humiliation. That's just like a...
Right. She should have, this is bigotry, she should have lost her job. And again, people say free speech, freedom of religion. Yeah, you get to keep your religious beliefs. You get to your opinion. You just don't get to keep your job. That's not, you could go get a job at a church or something. But people have the right to fire you for your bigotry. That's not against freedom of speech. That's not against freedom of religion. Let me see what the top comment is. So, forced apology is fake. This person that I can't pronounce their name agrees with you, Ali. Forced apology is fake apology and can't be forgiven. Take your apology and show it where the sun don't shine. Nathan is saying forced apology is fake apology. Clerk should be fired. Oh yeah, so my comment is repeated as well. Dylan is saying forced to step down would have been better. Oh wow, yeah, people are saying Nicholas saying what the fuck does it have to do with atheism? Stop praising this is what we said at the beginning. Stop praising gays in here. Stop
praising gays.
Okay.
Stop it.
This is oh my god, Nick, this is so great. So what does this have to do with atheism? This woman said that I'm not. Okay, it's funny because we do actually post news that doesn't have anything to do with atheism because we do want to sometimes we do want to talk about stuff that has nothing to do with religion or atheism. But this Nathan guy picked a story that was about religion to say what does this have to do with atheism. These people are so homophobic. This is I think this is an atheist homophobe. Thank you, Nathan Nicholas, for being here, because you serve a purpose, because we need people to show that homophobia is not monopolized by religion. We want people to see that atheists can be homophobes like you, because you're so sensitive about it. You don't even read the story, because this was definitely bad religion, because she said it was because of her faith. But you have such a knee-jerk reaction to stories about gay. You're so triggered by it that you just go to the standard response that that people have when we post stories like this. And you do the reason why we don't ban your homophobia on the page is because we want other atheists to see that homophobia exists in the atheist community, so they don't go make claims like, oh, atheists are not homophobes and that kind of stuff, because I want our community to see that the problems that we have. So thank you for serving that kind of purpose. Yeah. All right. So I'm an atheist. Oh, wait, there's another atheist here. I'm an atheist and I know everyone has his freedom, but sorry, I don't love gays. Well, I don't love gays. Okay. Sure.
Okay. There's a lot of things I don't love. I don't taking it.
I don't love gays. Nobody asked you to love them, okay?
You do not have to love gays, sir. Here's your pass.
Like, what does this have to, there's a news on this, okay, so do you go around, do you love every straight person? So next news, if it's about a straight person, please
we should see him there saying, I love straight people.
No, sorry, I don't love straight people. You should be consistent. I just love my family. Why do I have to, every news that is not about gay people, you have to make it clear to us that you don't love every single straight person out there as well, okay? Thank you. All right, next news.
Next news is out of Bangladesh. Again, a Bangladeshi actress has apologized after making remarks suggesting that she's an atheist. Safa Kabir, a Bangladeshi actress, told a radio station that she didn't believe in any sort of afterlife because she didn't believe in things she couldn't see. The footage of the interview went viral, and she faced a torrent of criticism in a conservative Muslim country. She issued an apology, insisting on Facebook that she is not an atheist, and her comments were misinterpreted. So guys, this actually, her backlash got so big that somebody came into our closed Atheist Republic group and told all of us that we needed to ban this actress because she's an atheist.
Right. So just to be clear what Ali is saying, she got such a huge backlash for saying that she doesn't believe in God. Such an on social media that so many people were going around all groups and chat groups, private groups, telling people to ban this person because she's an atheist, that they weren't even checking in which groups they were accusing her of being an atheist. So even in Atheist Republic's group, there was people coming like, "Hey, ban this person. She's an atheist." That's how viral the backlash is going against her. People are like,
and this is a group of nothing but atheists.
And people are like, do you know where you are? Well, for her, by the way, I don't blame her for a lot of people, she is apologizing, right? And nobody should be forced to apologize for being an atheist, and this is so sad. But I'm hoping when I scroll down and check the comments, nobody is blaming her for apologizing. Now, I'm hoping nobody thinks that she should have stood her ground because she's living in a fucked up place where she is forced to make this apology. I would sympathize with her. I'm hoping nobody's actually blaming her that she has to make this apology. And I'm actually, so sad. She's probably an atheist that has to, it's so sad that even when somebody she's famous, she's an actress, and she's being open-minded, she could have been used as a role model for other atheists that feel lonely, or especially Bangladesh, where so many atheists have been so wronged in Bangladesh. This would have been such an inspiration if somebody could openly say this. Imagine when a lot of gay people saw celebrities openly announcing that they're gay. For a lot of them, it really helped the normalization of it. So this could have been something similar. It's such a shame that the backlash has been so strong that she has to come and publicly apologize for saying she's an atheist. And look, this is on the Friendly Atheist by Hamed Mehta, right?
Mhm.
I don't know how many other news. Is this getting much news coverage in other non-atheist platforms?
On non-atheist platforms, I want to say that it has, simply because there's been such a huge backlash against her for it. I feel like these people had to have. Maybe it's just the viral video of her that's going around that's making this so popular.
Like this should get more coverage, because like imagine if the news was somebody somewhere in the world, anywhere in the world, came on TV and apologized for being a Christian or being a Muslim or being a Jew. Apologize. Like I know our audience is used to me saying this, but I have to say it every time because not that many other people say it. I just want to say, like, if this was any other kind of apology like this, the whole world would be talking about it. Like, imagine if somebody somewhere was forced to apologize for being a Christian. That the Christian community would be up in arms about it, and good, rightfully so, rightfully so. If somebody who somewhere was forced to apologize for being a Muslim, the Islamic community would be up in arms about it, and rightfully so. But we as an atheist community, we don't have that voice yet. This is why we're trying to Atheist Republic. This is why we're trying to change. We're trying to provide that voice, right, of atheists. We're trying to amplify the voice of the atheist community. Again, link in our YouTube description. Join the Atheist Republic because we're trying Atheist Republic movement, because we're trying to fill in that gap. The outcry that would be there for the Christian community, for the Muslim community, for the Hindu community, for the Jewish community. We don't have the same backlash when somebody does this to atheists. And there needs to be a backlash. There needs to be a backlash. There needs to be, people should know that if they mistreat atheists like this, there's going to be a political cost. There's going to be a media cost. There's going to be a PR nightmare. There's going to be a reaction to it. We need people to be worried about mistreating atheists. So join Atheist Republic. atheistrepublic.com. Help us get there. But let me see. Sobhan is saying not just the page, though there are quite a few, even in the group. Okay, so even what has the...
Even in the group, people are always, what does this have to do with atheism?
Sobhan is saying, I got a friend in Bangladesh whose doctor suggested that she got some disease for being an atheist, and her family buying into that. Wait, the doctor said that. Jesus fucking Christ. His Holiness is saying this is an example of why the Atheist Republic and others are important to stand up. Oh, thank you. To let those who can't, that they are, know that they are not alone and supported. Well, unfortunately, we're not yet in a, other than talking about it, we're not yet in a position to provide the support that we do want to eventually be able to support. But we're trying to get there, hopefully. Marshall is saying, I am a Bangladeshi. I think she was forced to do so. She was getting life threats from strangers, etc. In this country, free thinkers are underground. They don't show up often. Our country needs attention of international media and Human Rights Watch. Yes, we're trying, Marshall. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for giving us some, comments from Bangladesh itself. Somebody else is saying it's better to lie than get killed. Yep. Luke is saying, how dare she think for herself logically? They're being sarcastic. Hill is saying, never apologize for speaking the truth. No, Hill, she has to. John is saying, I don't blame her, and it's the smart choice. Don't live honest, live smart. Yeah, to be clear though, if somebody decides to say, like, you know what, fuck it, I'm not gonna apologize, I'm gonna stand my ground, okay? don't tell them that they're being stupid, okay? Because nobody should be. We shouldn't have the expectation for people to pay that high of a cost. But if somebody does decide to do that, they have made a decision to pay a higher cost for the rights of others. And they know, if they know the risk and they took the risk knowingly, don't tell them that they made the wrong decision. They're making the sacrifice. They have made the decision. Just thank them and see how you can help. Whatever decision people make, if somebody says this, if somebody decides that they don't want to pay the cost, that's the right decision. And if somebody decides that they do want to pay the cost, that's also the right decision. Should we go to the next news?
Next news out of Warrington, England. Parents suffocated girl 17 with a plastic bag for wearing a short-sleeved top.
What the fuck? Okay.
Shafilia Ahmed, 17, suffered years of abuse from her mom and dad before they decided to end her life for bringing dishonor to the family. In September 2003, the couple pinned their daughter down on the sofa and stuffed a carrier bag into her mouth until she turned blue and suffocated. Her body was dumped 70 miles away from their home in Warrington. Now, one of the teenager's close family friends, Shaneen Munir, has helped reveal the extent of the abuse she went through before her death. Shafilia's parents planned an honor killing as a way to end the shame she brought onto the family. During a furious row over her short-sleeved top, they killed her in the living room and made her siblings watch. Her sister Alicia later went to the police and told them what happened. Ifit Kar and Farzana were found guilty and were sentenced to 25 years in prison without parole in 2012. A documentary, When Missing Turns to Murder, was released on Monday, April 15th, outlining the story.
So this is an older story, but the reason why it's back on the news is because we just had a recent documentary going over this, what happened, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Where can people watch? This is actually, I want to see this documentary because this is, again, a lot of people say like, oh, this is Islam. This is a Muslim family, right? Right. I mean, I'm saying this because a lot of people can't see the picture, so because it's going to be on a podcast, right? But this is a Muslim family, and there's a huge debate over whether this is Islam or this is not Islam. And again, we had this discussion. In Islam, we can't just take in life like this, right? But at the same time, this is their daughter. The culture that comes out of Islam influences the culture in a way that you think that this is your daughter. You have every right to whatever you want to do to them. And the taboo over sex is so bad that it influences the culture in a way that saving the honor of a family becomes in such a high priority over everything else, even above the love that you might have for your daughter, right? So it's definitely rooted in the religion, even if the religion doesn't directly endorse something like this, right?
So you wanted to know where to watch it. I just wanted to let you know that When Missing Turns to Murder is on the Crime and Investigation channel, and it's supposed to be airing 9 p.m. Monday, April 15th. So it already aired. Right. But anyone can find it who has the Crime and Investigation channel.
Right. Yuval is actually pointing out exactly what I said, saying honor killing is not Islamic. And this is what I say. This is not only not Islamic. Again, I say this as somebody that attacks Islam all the time for it being a barbaric, backward religion that has a lot of things that is even worse than this that it condones. But this is not something that Islam condones. There's no scripture or hadith that says that allows you to just kill your daughter like this. In fact, this is what these parents have done. It's punishable by death in Islam. But but honor killing it's fair to say that Islam influenced honor killing, right? It's a byproduct of Islam, but not Islam itself. It's something that Islam gave birth to in a way that making anything sexual so taboo, and also making honor so important. So you could argue. I don't know how accurate it would be, and how that's something that people with better expertise could discuss, the relationship between the culture and the religion. But you could argue that the culture, it was influenced by the religion. But the reason why you have to be important, why you have to be careful to, and why it's important for you to recognize that this is not Islamic, is because if you are fighting Islam and you don't recognize that, then it's harder for you, your credibility will be quite, you will lose your credibility when something, when you actually are attacking Islam for the barbaric things that it does condone. No, you will not be a credible source, because if you're blaming Islam for this, and you can't show anything in Islam that supports this, right? Because you can't, right? In fact, this is punishable. Again, this is punishable by death in Islam. Bruno is saying +10 for religion of peace. Again, I think this is a cultural. But by the way, when we say this is a cultural thing, it's still. I mean, cultures are backwards as well, right? You could also blame a culture, like a culture could be as backwards and barbaric as some religions are. This is
Right.
definitely. Where are these people from?
Pakistan
Yeah.
originally.
Again, this is definitely a Pakistani cultural problem, right? So, and given that Pakistan's culture is very heavily influenced by Islam, you could make a strong argument that the backward Pakistani culture was influenced by Islam, right? But again, there are many things that are barbaric that are not necessarily religion, even if they're influenced by religion, and some of them are backwards culture, and this is a backward Pakistani culture, honor killing. Laura is saying nothing says God loves you like a good honor killing. Ugh. These people have some dark humor. Ben is saying, and people wonder why I don't want them around me. Well, I mean, Ben, I'm hoping you're not overgeneralizing. You don't want, and people wonder why I don't want them around me. Who are you talking about? Are you talking about all Pakistani people? Because a lot of Pakistani people are fighting this.
Right.
So, and no atheist would do that in the name of nothing. Well, again, don't make general statements like that. That doesn't help anyone's case. Sobham is saying, oh, totally, cultures are often backwards. It is sad that attacking backwards culture makes me racist, according to some people. Sobham, are you not from, which country? You're from there. Do people actually make, like, you're from India, I think? So, I don't know. People are actually accuse you of racism as well? I don't know. Where is Sobham from? I think he's from India. Okay, let's go to the next news.
Next news, we've reported on a story similar to this before, but in Illinois, Billboard welcomes Missouri women who want a safe, legal abortion. And
Wait, is this a new state that is doing this? Because
we reported on Colorado.
Oh, okay. Because I thought like, wait, we already covered this story, but so Colorado did this, now Illinois is doing. This is great. Abortion tourism.
Yes, right? The Hope Clinic for Women provides abortion care. And taking a page from another clinic in Colorado, they just put up a billboard welcoming visitors from Missouri. In a press release, Dr. Erin King, an OBGYN who serves as the clinic's executive director, states, the goal of this billboard is to remind people coming in from Missouri that they now have a state that they can trust and that allows pregnant people to make their own healthcare and family planning decisions. So this is awesome. I mean, when we have more and more and more states doing like what Texas is doing right now, saying that women who get abortion should get the death penalty, it's awesome to know where these safe havens are. So I think it's great they're putting up these billboards welcoming women who don't have another choice.
This is great. I mean, this could be a good marketing for, like, your state could benefit from not being crazy because you get now abortion tourists, right?
Right.
But it would be, there should be, if some states are making it illegal, this is what I said last time. There should be a charity that says that we, for women that can't afford to travel or take time off work or to go from their state to another state to get safe from a state that abortion is illegal to a state that abortion is safe and legal, then this charity will pay for their travel costs, and also for any time off work that they might lose and stuff. I think there's room for a good charity to open up and provide that, right? And because that would be so good, because then all these states that work so hard to make abortion illegal, then all their efforts will be useless, right? Because now women have access to other states, and there will be buses coming in, picking them up, and then taking them to another state, and then dropping them back up when they're done. And all their efforts would be useless, which is it would be such a great win. So if you're looking in opening a new charity, this is a charity idea for you, right? So just from transport costs and stuff for women that want safe and legal abortions, to go to either Illinois or Colorado. Yeah, that's great. This is great. I support this billboard. Who put up this billboard?
The billboard was put up by the I want to say it was by Dr. Aaron King's clinic. So I think that'd be a Planned Parenthood thing. Let me check to be sure.
I see a logo there. It says
the Hope Clinic.
Hope Clinic. Yeah, okay.
And that's Dr. King's clinic.
Oh, actually, this is great because the clinic is advertising its services by doing this. This is great.
Yeah.
Good job. These clinics should then, once the charity that I'm proposing starts, these clinics then should partner up with the charities and advertise their services to people that are going to these charities for help. See, synergy. This is mergers and great. See, capitalism sometimes solves problems, or many times. Sylvia is saying, as awesome as this is, it really is sad that it has to be posted on a billboard. This should be standard practice everywhere without needing to be advertised. Yeah, pretty much. Brittany is saying, awesome, hope it stays this way. Well, I'm hoping this becomes unnecessary one day when it's not illegal anywhere else. Chelsea is saying, you mean you can actually do what you want with your own body? Amazing. Laura is saying, you mean having other options when those methods fail? Okay, I don't know what you're saying. Support Planned Parenthood. Women still live in Missouri? ? What an alpha move. Okay. Jack is saying, great idea, but I'd really worry about safety. Might be safer to help fund private travel that individuals can plan. I'd be worried about vehicles being tracked and targeted. Jesus. Okay. Wow.
That's a very good point.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Don't put all the women that want abortion in one bus. Maybe travel separately. Okay. Yeah, okay, Jack. Maybe, okay, whoever is opening this charity.
Maybe Uber should do it.
Hire Uber, Jack. Oh, yeah, Uber should be like, that's a great advertising for, no, not Uber, Lyft. So Lyft, so that they could stand out against Uber. Be like, we now have a service free for, no, that would be so, they would go, that's so expensive. Okay, Lyft should open a charity when people can donate to Lyft to do the travel costs, and Lyft, for every dollar up to $1 million, Lyft would match that, something like that. But anyways, hire Jack, because Jack seems to
be full of good ideas.
Anyways, next news.
Next news out of Germany. Former Pope blames church abuse crisis on the sexual revolution and gay cliques.
Revolution.
Yeah,
sexual revolution.
In an 11-page letter to be published in a German magazine for priests, Pope Benedict said that the scandal is the fault of sexual revolution of the 1960s and more liberal sexual ethics. Catholic League's Bill Donahue thinks the letter is wonderful. Thank God we still have him as the seminal voice to guide us. He is indispensable. So, okay, basically what this is summarizing is Pope Benedict somehow still running his mouth and saying terrible, disgusting things, is saying that the child abuse scandal in the Catholic Church actually needs to be blamed on the sexual revolution of the 60s. When pedophilia has been happening long before the 60s,
Child
right?
molestation.
What's that?
Child molestation, not pedophilia.
Okay, both, really.
Right.
But,
yes. But the problem is more than just pedophilia. It's child molestation.
Child molestation has been going on long since before the 60s. And so Pope Benedict trying to make these accusations, trying to throw different reasons out as to why the church shouldn't be blamed. This is just disgusting. And not only that, but he's also confused in the past before he's confused gay people with child molesters as well. So I don't.
Way to take responsibility. Like what the? I mean, okay. You know what? Keep talking. This guy should keep talking, okay? Because this is great. Just embarrass the Catholic Church, right? Like we need this guy. Like I want this guy to be constantly speaking about all the problems in Catholic Church. So more
every time he does, he embarrasses the Catholic Church.
Keep doing that. Like I mean, come on. Like, do we even have to? I mean, I really think like we're insulting our audience if we talk about how fucking moronic this comment is, right? Like, right. but I mean, but if people, I want more Catholics to hear this, because I'm pretty sure even some Catholics are like listening to this, are like, what the fuck? These people are not solving, they're not even trying to solve anything. They're not even like, they don't even want to take responsibility for anything. They always point the finger, like they think so highly of themselves. They can't even imagine. But you know what the beauty of this thing is? That as much as we talk shit about the Catholic Church and like these people don't solve anything, it just amazes me that this guy actually just writes this and puts it out publicly. Like he doesn't, like he must live in a bubble or something to think like this is a good idea. Let me just put this out there. Or does it? They must know that it does resonate with their community, right? Which is alarming. Like we point at this and they're like, oh my god, these people haven't even started even the first fucking step to take to hold themselves accountable for all the harm that they have done. Like they haven't even started.
No, and people want to give them credit and try to give them credit, especially for doing this this seminar that they held at the beginning of the year, which was absolute bullshit. The only reason why they held that to make everybody think that they were actually doing something to stop the child molestation within their church, and somehow pointed out to me the difference between pedophilia and child molestation. I understand that. I've been saying pedophilia because that's the way the article is is worded. But so they haven't even tried to address the issue with child molestation in their church. They haven't even tried, and they keep throwing up these smoke bombs saying, look, people, look at how we're trying, look at how we're trying, when they're not actually doing anything about it.
Okay, but I'm getting echo. Do you have headphones on?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I want us to everybody has, this news has gotten a lot of attention and a lot of people have pointed out how fucking ridiculous this is. But I want to talk about something else, is that this guy, he can't be an idiot, right? Like he became the Pope. Becoming the Pope it requires a lot of politics and strategy and sometimes backstabbing, right? So he can't be. He must know that within our world, we look at this and we're like, oh my god, what the fuck? But he wouldn't put this out there if he didn't understand his own community, right? This must work within his community for him to put this out there. To me, we should, if he's putting this out there, to me that raises the alarm about not just this guy, but the Catholic community. That something like this resonates with them, right? Another thing is that I think they're playing. This is the few times that we have like a pope and a pope light at the same time, right? So we have like we're being double poped, but they kind of are playing good cop bad cop on us, right? Because the so-called good pope that a lot of atheists have been supporting, he's also like making excuses. The current pope is making excuses for all this bullshit, right? Like they come and have this huge gathering and like, oh yeah, you're gonna have a gathering. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna open the files to the police and bring in an investigators and have people out with handcuffs and, you know, what is gonna happen? Oh, we're gonna invoke the Holy fucking Spirit. Like that's gonna solve everything, and now everyone goes home like, yep, we're addressing it. And you go to churches and you talk to the Catholics, and like, are you still donating to the church? And they're like, yeah. And like, why? You guys are actually funding the protection of child molesters. I'm like, no, but they're addressing it. Like, so when all these Catholics keep saying, but they're addressing it, to me it shows that both the current pope and the previous pope, the things that they're saying, to us it sounds ridiculous, but it's working. It's working among Catholics. So they know what they're doing. They're not idiots. I mean, they're idiots about believing in gods and stuff, but politically they're very strategic about what they're doing. Yuval is saying, interestingly enough, the establishment opposing sex revolution and gays is supposed to be, according to this former pope, more affected from it. Oh yeah, how is it? That's a very good point. How is it that you guys are infected by it? You guys should have been. Weren't you being protected by the Holy Spirit? Will Philly is saying, yes, popes live in a bubble where they're cut off from the real world. It's called Vatican City. All right, let's see what the top comment here is. Deborah is saying, don't they all take a vow of celibacy? Yeah, but it doesn't matter. If you're a Catholic, you could do whatever the fuck you want. You could commit genocide, and you go in this wooden small little place and you talk like, hey, I committed genocide, sorry, and like, okay, 1,000 mother, Hail Marys, and you're good. So you could do whatever you want. This is how it works. If you're a Catholic, you have a license to sin. Gary is saying, if he just offered an unconditional apology and admitted that celibacy is one of the major causes, then he may just have a small bit of credibility. He should just fuck off now, and someone with authority should point out the truth to the innocent bystander. This is, okay, even the interesting thing is that even if they came out and like, we're sorry, we should still be like, go fuck off. You guys have been protecting this for way too long. But they're not even doing that, okay? They're not even doing that. Like, anything short of a full invasion of Vatican with an army, with an international back support army of Vatican going and arresting everybody, holding everyone in custody until everything is investigated. Anything short of that is, to me, is fucking bullshit. Jamie is saying, standard operating procedure, deny everything, accuse the victims of being liars, deflect blame. Yeah, exactly. Jack is saying, I've seen this working against them in some of the younger generation. Older folk go with it, but younger folks dive deeper. But Jack, they're actually very much smarter than that. They know that they're losing their demographic in Europe and North America, but they are so smart. Like, people don't understand how strategic they are. They're going for different places. They're like, okay, we need to grow in Philippines, we need to grow in Brazil. They're growing in Bahrain, for fuck's sakes, right? The Islamic countries they're growing. In wait, even in wait, yeah, in Saudi Arabia, um, when these Arab countries are so desperate for some international credibility, they go to the Catholic Church. Wait, was it Bahrain or was it Saudi Arabia? Hold on, just 1 second. Catholic Church. I'll look this up later.
Okay.
I think it was in Saudi Arabia. Oh yeah, it was in Saudi Arabia. So yeah, even in countries like Saudi Arabia, they are growing. And Saudi Arabia is desperate for credibility, so they're allowing it. And the Pope is desperate for growth. The Vatican is desperate for growth, so there's a weird alliance right now between them. Anyways, next news.
Next news. Saudi sisters trapped in Georgia after fleeing their country beg for help and say they are in danger.
Okay, what's the
Two
story?
sisters from Saudi Arabia who are trapped in Georgia have appealed for asylum after fleeing the ultra-conservative kingdom. Maha and Wafa, 28 and 25, claim they are in danger and will be killed if they are forced to return to Saudi Arabia. They have made their case for international help on Twitter under the account @GeorgiaSisters. The sisters are appealing to the UN to help them to get to a third safe country. Our family threatens us every day in our country, Wafa said, while her sister Maha said they had proof of this.
Okay, why did they run away? I mean, it's obvious, but I'm just gonna ask anyways.
Yeah.
So why did they run away? Like, were they political? Were they anti-religion? Did they say something, or is it just straight up women's rights and being the guardianship laws? They haven't said much about that, right? They're just like,
Well, what they've been talking about a lot on Twitter is the fact that they couldn't even show their face. They couldn't wear their hair uncovered. And they were even led to believe that if they showed their face, something bad would happen to them.
right.
So they fled. They fled the oppression, basically. That's why they left, to flee oppression.
Oh, so it's women's rights kind of thing. So is anybody doing something about it, or is this like are people like, is any country stepping up? How long has this been going on? Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. There are a few organizations that are stepping up, such as Equality Now, which is an NGO affiliate, and I don't know who they are, but we've all heard of Equality Now. I think they've actually helped a lot of people in cases such as this. There was a woman from Saudi Arabia who fled, and I think she was like, her father worked high up in Saudi Arabia, so it was very scary when Equality Now got involved with them. The United Nations is supposed to be helping them as well, the UNHCR. That is their branch that actually helps people seek asylum. But to what degree, I don't know. I don't know to what degree they are helping them, because anytime I've ever worked with the UNHCR to help people who are fleeing to another country, the person who was fleeing to that country had to be in the country before a representative from the UNHCR would help them. So if these sisters are in Georgia, but yet they're seeking a third country to be safe in, I'm not sure
Why not
how
Georgia?
the UNH...
Why not Georgia? Why not Georgia?
I don't know, to be honest with you. It's just while they're in Georgia, they're saying now that they need a third country. I mean, at least they're now in Georgia. At least now while they're in Georgia, they don't have to, hide their face or anything like that. So,
yeah, I mean, Canada has been stepping up to this. This is one good thing that Canada is doing. Like, they had Rahaf, right? They accepted Rahaf. They're now taking, stepping up against Saudi. Like, this is one thing that Canada is getting right. They're taking very strong positions against Saudi Arabia. I mean, they didn't for too long. They were too silent about it for too long, but finally they started, taking these strong positions, which is great.
right.
So I'm hoping Canada keeps doing this. I mean, Honestly, if you're a woman from Saudi Arabia, oh, sorry. Sorry. I mean, if you're a woman from Saudi Arabia, it shouldn't. Your case is already made for you, right? Like like from any other country, if you say like, oh, you have to prove that your life, that you were being discriminated against, or you're a target. From Saudi Arabia, you're like, yeah, I'm a woman and I'm from Saudi Arabia. Do I need to say fucking anything more? Like,
Right.
that my case is already made for me. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm hoping other than the fact that these women actually do get the support that they need, I hope this keeps bringing attention to Saudi Arabia, and I hope they get international attention, and they constantly are getting embarrassed for the. And a lot of people think that they don't care. They do care. It does influence their geopolitics. It does influence their political capital around internationally. It does. It does bring pressure to them. The more people, the more citizens of each country have a negative view of Saudi Arabia, the more the politicians feel like they could get votes by taking an anti-Saudi position, right? So a lot of people, and the more Saudi will feel this is why Saudi Arabia does invest a lot of money in its PR. So a lot of people that think that this kind of media attention or international attention doesn't matter to Saudi Arabia, it absolutely does. They do pay a heavy price for it, maybe less than other countries that care more about their human rights. But when you
Right.
see stories like these, share them, because when people say like, "Oh, we can't do anything," well, just share this fucking story, right? That's all you can do, right? Like, this is the smallest amount you could do. If you share this story, you are helping put Saudi Arabia under pressure. It does have an effect. We have seen it have an effect. There are people that are not in prison, and there are people that were supposed to get lashes, like Raif Badawi, and their lashing stopped because of international pressure. So international pressure does have an effect. So when you see stories like this, share them, post them, tell people. BJ saying, it looks bad on a country that keeps claiming their women are treated like princesses. Oh yeah, they claim. Oh, fucking hell. The fact that they claim that makes me angry.
Yeah.
Um, Let me actually see if I could bring the Facebook live chat and stop the audio. There we go, because I want to see what people are saying here on Facebook as well. By the way, I just checked which country I was trying to refer to when I saw like the Catholic Church was growing a lot in it. It's actually neither Bahrain or Saudi Arabia. It was in Abu Dhabi in United Arab Emirates. There's a lot of Catholics there, and I would suspect that in Bahrain and in Saudi Arabia also there must be the churches there must be growing as well, because a lot of the Filipinos that go there and work, right? So, and I think the fact that a lot of Filipinos are going to these countries and working, I do think that the Catholic Church is trying to reach out to them, the demographics that are changing, and for these countries that have such a dark human rights record, building a relationship with the Catholic Church, it's used as such a big PR move, right? Because if the Pope endorses you, if the Pope comes and visits, like the Pope, this current Pope recently went to Abu Dhabi, right? And they use that as a PR move, right? They use that because at least the Catholics are like, well, they can't be that bad if they're building churches there for the Catholics, right? So this is such a huge PR play for them. Yeah. Anyways, and the Catholic Church loves it as well because they're desperate for more Catholics.
Yeah.
Anyways, next news.
Next news is out of Christchurch, New Zealand. Girl, age 5, shot in Christchurch mosque attack, awakens from coma, unable to see.
Permanently?
Let me read this. Christchurch mosque shooting survivor Wasim Alatia had a rare morning off on March 15th, and he decided to spend it with his then 4-year-old daughter, Alan Daragimi, and take her to the mosque with him. But before they got inside Al Noor, they were shot and left for dead. He slipped into a coma for 2.5 weeks. He kept slipping in and out of consciousness. Every time he woke up, he started screaming. Certain certain that his youngest child was gone. During the first week of April, Ellen woke up from her coma and she turned 5 while she was still unconscious. She can't see anything and is just barely responsive. It could be another 6 months before doctors can assess just how bad the damage is. So while we don't know that it's permanent damage right now, things aren't looking good for her. And this is just one of those things, we saw people when this first came out that disgusted a lot of members on our team, myself as well, Armin, where people were just praising this, thinking that this was some sort of win for atheism, thinking that, barging into a church and killing off some Muslims is just going to somehow magically, make things okay. And it was terrible. It was terrible. It was disgusting. And even for the people who didn't die during this attack, look at what they're having to suffer through now. I mean, this is terrible. We've got a 5-year-old child here who is still in and out of unconsciousness, who's barely responsive when she is conscious, and they're going to have to wait and see if she's going to be like this forever, or if there's anything they can do to try to fix it.
Yeah, I haven't scrolled down yet. I'm gonna see if there's any comments, because when we posted about Christchurch originally, like you said, there were some comments that were like the number of comments actually endorsing the shooting was fucking horrific, right? But
Yeah.
I wanted these comments to stay up there so that our community sees that what we're dealing with, right? Like, so that we need to see the disease within our own communities as well, because we don't. I mean, if we don't talk about those, then how could we would be hypocrites? Because we say like, oh, the Catholic Church is not taking any accountability or any responsibility or looking internally within their own community and pointing it out. They're always blaming other people. So we should we shouldn't be hypocrites. We saw within the Atheist Republic community people commenting and supporting the shooter. And we wanted to make sure that we not only we don't hide it, but we highlight it and call it out. And some people are actually saying like, "What the fuck? Why are you highlighting this?" Or some people say like, "See, your community is rotten." Like, whatever you say, I don't care what the fuck you say. When we see this within our community, we are going to talk about it. We are going to show not just our own members of our community. We are going to show publicly that look, we have a problem within our community, and this is a fucking mess that needs to be addressed. But I'm gonna scroll down. I'm hoping at least when it comes to talking about a little child, like a little girl, I'm hoping that I'm not gonna see toxic comments here, because I'm like it's. Let me see if this story at least. I'm hoping it's not getting anybody saying like, yeah, the shooter did a good job. Holy fuck! If you see that under here, then holy fuck. Let's see what the top comment is. Oh my god. Cinnamon is saying, I wonder how many billionaires are offering to help her, or did they already spend all that money on Notre Dame?
Oh my god.
I mean, okay, this is stupid, but at least they are saying that she needs help. Okay, like somebody needs to donate to her. Okay.
Look, right now everyone's complaining about the money that's going to Notre Dame. So no matter what it is that gets brought up, they're saying, "Oh my God, there are people that are homeless. Where's all the hundreds of millions of dollars going to these homeless people?" Like,
Right.
just yeah.
No,
Sorry.
okay, I agree with you. That's fuck. If somebody is donating money to a good cause, and you still find a way to blame them,
Yeah,
so that's bullshit.
it's
But
bullshit.
it's still bullshit. But it's still as not as toxic. I want to see if it's as toxic as still supporting the shooter, because
Yeah,
even though I don't agree with this comment, at least it's a comment that says that she thinks that somebody should donate to her to be able to see. Laurie is saying, "I am an atheist from New Zealand. I don't share their beliefs, but I don't have. I do have one rule to follow, and that's don't be a cunt." I mean, you think like, well, of course, like, some people make fun of this, like, oh, what a brave stance. You're standing against child murder, or again, like, wow, so brave. You're against shooting innocent people, obviously, but It seems like not that obviously, because it seems like it's you should say these things, because if you don't, then the only people that are commenting are the people that are supporting the fucking shooter. So as obvious as this might seem, it seems like necessary for people to say this, because if you don't, then it seems like the only people that are commenting, like it makes it even more it makes it look even more toxic than it is. Martin is saying we don't approve of religion here, but people here poking fun at a 5-year-old girl losing her sight is disgusting. What are you, Martin? Are you serious? Like there are people. Let me. Okay, what is Martin referring to? It's Sam is saying I'm disappointed in this comment section. We are better than. I mean, these are the top comments are against it, but I'm worried now because they're referring to some other comments. Let me see what the toxic comments they're referring to. Very lucky young girl. Starship Hospital staffs are amazing. I wish her all the best. Patrick saying, where are the toxic comments they're referring to?
They typically float to the bottom.
No, they don't, because they usually, like with the new system of Facebook, you have like angry reactions as well. So it does.
I know, but for some reason, I'm still finding these things down at the bottom. People are just making their own post about their outrage or their own comment about their outrage. So the initial one kind of falls sometimes. Rather than replying to the comment that outrages them. I don't know.
See, okay, this is a semi-toxic comment. Thoughts and prayers. So they're making fun of the fact that people just pray for them. So like, or maybe they're saying like, I'm just giving you something useless because I don't care for you.
Right.
Carl is saying, I'm sure they are praying for her. I just hope the doctors can help the poor girl. Okay, so this is not toxic. I'm looking for the toxic comments because I want to highlight the problem. A lot of people are saying that this comment section gives the atheists a bad name. I think, okay, so I think sometimes with the atheists, see, we don't be so tribal, okay? Every person believing in horrific things or saying horrific things, the atheists that are good people, they're just only they're not representing the entire atheist community. Then the atheists that are good assholes, they're not atheists, the entire atheist community as well. We don't make generalized claims about Christians or Muslims. We shouldn't do the same thing about atheists. And I think sometimes we need to highlight the toxic comments for the atheists that make general comments that say, "Oh, atheists are generally good people." So that's a dangerous way of looking at our community, right? It just as it's dangerous to say all atheists are evil, atheists are bad, atheists are like immoral. That's dangerous, but it's also dangerous to make claims that they're all good. So and we try to highlight toxic comments like this, so that we destroy that myth. And if you think that this makes atheists look bad, that's also nonsense, because you can't generalize an entire group of people. But where are the toxic comments? I'm trying to find. Tim is saying if she's been an atheist.
I've found a few.
What?
Jonathan Wesley Jackson says, should have worshipped a god who specializes in healing the blind. Then someone up here posted a meme that says, so. Another person said, nobody cares. And then someone said that I don't remember seeing a child in the video, ... kind of like it's a conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory.
So, I mean, there were really just like a handful that kind of, like I said, floated towards the bottom because people make their own comments about those comments rather than, replying.
There are more comments. There are more comments of saying they're disgusted. Oh my! There's somebody. Oh, this is so sad. There's a GIF here. GIF or GIF? I don't know. With this ew,
yeah,
gross.
And that really is disgusting. And these people are.
Oh, somebody. Nobody cares. Okay, I'm seeing them now. That's somebody saying religion needs to die. What this is anybody blaming this on religion? Because I don't blame this on religion. The guy didn't do it for Christianity.
No.
Oof. Somebody is saying it's karma. So they believe in collective punishment for Muslims that didn't do anybody harm. Jesus, Nina. What's wrong with you? Ouch.
Gross.
Let me see. I want to. Comment section is proof there are cons in every group. You're not an atheist at all. Who are you talking to? Better than being dead. Okay, I agree with that. This is. Let me see. So, how many laugh emojis do we get? So.
Someone said I was going to write something offensive, but she would never see it.
Ew. Okay, so 902 crying emojis. 185 like emojis, but I don't know what. Don't judge the like ones, because the like usually sometimes means thanks for sharing, or it means some people may be liking it because she's still alive rather than dead.
Right.
147 angry emojis. 18 shock. 16 laugh. So I think the only one that you could maybe judge is the laughing emojis, which is 16. But yeah, compared to 902 crying emojis, I'm not trying to say the toxic, so still most people are still sad. Most people in our community are still saddened by this. But that doesn't mean that this is not a big problem. We do see a lot of comments that is absolutely, absolutely horrible. But I'm glad that we shared this. A lot of people accuse us of only caring about atheists. Obviously, we don't. This poor little girl. Seriously, okay. Let me see what our community in the live chat is saying. Godless Heathen saying we are all individuals. Subham is saying there are haha reactions to the post. Freaking haha reacts to a girl losing her sight. Muska is saying I vote for American politicians that want civilized gun control. What does this got to do with the news? What can we do to stop the gun violence epidemics in the U.S.? My heart is breaking for this little girl. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, okay. Vibrantly is saying, did you even read the manifesto, Atheist Republic? He says why he did it. Yeah, I know. I've read a lot of analysis on it as well. He does want, he wants a reaction to this. He wants an overreaction to this. He was hoping for a Muslim community backlash. So then there's a backlash to the backlash. Unfortunately, the person that did this really understood meme culture. He was very strategic about every single word that he said before he went there. Like, he was his plan is in some places working. Again, this is not an endorsement of him. Unfortunately, he was very smart about every single decision that he made. From the very beginning that he said, like, subscribe to PewDiePie, he knew exactly what he was doing. He is a smart motherfucker, and unfortunately an inhumane monster. Smart, but still a smart one. And a lot of the reactions that he was hoping for is happening, but not. I don't think it's happening to the. I mean, it's too early to judge. But some of the signs of what he was hoping for shows to have been start. I don't know. Does he have access to the news? Because if he has access to the news, he must be very happy about the blame, the way that the identity politics has been used to, the way, and we could analyze this as well, right? I mean, the way the New Zealand, the hijab they did, the azan, the singing of the azan that they did, and the way that the people reacted to New Zealand doing that was pretty much some of the reactions that he was hoping for. But it's not as big as I think he was hoping for. But it might be too early to judge right now, because a lot of the side effects of attacks like this show itself like a couple of years down the road. Like you can see that he was motivated by people before him. So how it affects society and how it affects people's reactions to Muslims and Muslims' reaction to the communities that they live in the side effects of this attack will be something that we'll see like 5 or 10 years from now, not right now. Yeah, it's very sad.
Very sad.
No, John is saying, Armin, the shooter was a Christian. Yeah, but he didn't. There was nothing within Christianity that was used.
Right, like he might have brought up Christianity when he was talking about his parents, and like, but if whenever I read through some of the manifesto, I don't recall there being long, speeches about the glory of God and I'm doing this because it's righteous. No, he just, kind of gave his bio. And
you have to be careful because we are atheist activists and we point out, the cost of religion whenever we see them, right? But you have to be careful because when you turn into a hammer, then everything looks like a nail, right? So when it comes to like becoming an atheist activist, just be careful not to always overblame everything on religion. This person had a problem with these people not because of their it was because of the he thought that the white race was being replaced and all that kind of nonsense, right? So
right.
It was white supremacy to blame here, not Christianity. I'm not making excuses for Christianity. There are many, many horrific things that happens that you could point to in history and be like, yep, that was because of Christianity. Okay?
Yeah.
And we cover them every time they happen. This is not one of them. All right? This is not one of them. This guy was anti-immigrant. Was a person that thought that his race, his people were being replaced, and he wanted to fight back. This was definitely more, ethnic identity politics rather than religion.
Right.
Right.
Should we move on to the next news?
Yeah, just one last thing. John is saying the shooter wrote how atheists are taking Christian culture in Europe. Yeah, but John, you have to understand there are a lot of atheists, atheist white supremacists that say that as well, because they see the Christian culture as an when they say Christian culture, they're talking about a heritage, an identity, rather than Christianity itself, right? Because these are people that, again, I'm not trying to make excuses for Christianity. They don't have anything in Christianity that they use to defend themselves. They just think like whatever was Western needs to be protected. It doesn't matter if it's true or if it's not true, if it's Christianity. If it's Western, it's being challenged by foreigners, and it needs to be protected, including Christianity, in Christian culture. Even the ones that don't believe in Christianity think that, because they think that they're protecting anything that is Western. So, I don't think they're using Christianity as a way to come up with their arguments. They just think anything that belongs to the West has to be... so Jen is saying, I get it, but definitely had an influence. Yeah, of course, it had some influence, but the major thing here was white supremacy. And again, I'm not trying to exaggerate the influence of white supremacy. A lot of people try to do that. You have to understand that more Muslims are being killed for other reasons other than white supremacy. Muslims are being oppressed more in China, in Yemen, in many other places in much higher numbers, and people don't talk about them. We do talk about them. So white supremacy is a problem, still a problem, will remain a problem, but some people try to exaggerate how common it is and how influential it is. We don't do that. But this is one example that you could blame white supremacy to. Muska is saying perhaps he was a mentally ill person. We're not experts in mental health, so we don't know. Next news.
Children of Islamic State fighter Khaled Sharaf want to return to Australia.
They're children. Let them back. Go on.
Yeah. The orphaned kids of Islamic State's Khaled Sharaf are desperate to come home 5 years after they were dragged to Syria by their parents. Zainab, 17, Hoda, 15, and Hazma, 8, are stuck living in a filthy tent in the Al-Hol refugee camp in northern Syria. After their parents and 2 oldest brothers died, they're desperate to come home. The teenager is almost 7.5 months pregnant with her 3rd
Oh
child.
shit.
Now, most of the adults in her life are dead. The kid's grandmother, Karen Nettleton, is working to get them back to Australia. So if you guys are wondering how this girl is, 15, pregnant so many times, her father married her off when she was 13 years old.
Wait, are they Australian?
Most of their family, yes, they lived in Australia and then they were drug off to Syria.
Yeah, but are they Australian citizens?
That I don't know.
Okay, but if they are Australian citizens, why are they already not back? Like,
Well, the
who's stopping
grandmother
them?
is an Australian citizen, right? The grandmother has always been in Australia, and she wants her grandchildren back with her. So I don't understand why
Yes.
she can't.
Yeah. So what is even like? Do we even need a debate on these? They're children. Like, why are
Right.
they? Who's stopping them from coming back in? Just get on the next plane.
I think that might have to do something with the fact that the oldest daughter here is pregnant with her 3rd, and she was married off and she was 13 years old to an ISIS fighter.
So what?
So,
She was 13.
hmm?
So what? She was 13. Like,
Right. I understand.
I'm pretty
Just
sure
like there are a lot of girls that run away because they think that this is going to be a good idea.
But this,
She was forced into this.
yeah,
And,
I mean, she's
they
13.
had the choice.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why she's being treated in the exact same way.
I mean, is anybody like saying that this shouldn't become like who is anybody even pushing back against this? Like, I don't even understand. What would the
Well, they've
argument be?
tried twice to go home, traveling to Turkey in 2016 and 18. So they've tried getting out of Syria twice, and then when they try to get to there, right now the government is trying to get them out of Syria into the Australian embassy.
Okay, so the issue is just a logistical problem. There's nobody like Australia is not like no, we're not letting you back in. The government is actually trying to get them back, right?
Right.
So good, no problem. Get these poor kids out of there. Like she's already like she's a kid and she's already had three kids.
3 kids. Well, and they talk more about this tent that they're forced to live in. People get raped and tortured. Where they're living is terrible, and these are just children. Their parents died. So if you guys are wondering, I'm not sure if I said that earlier, but their parents died, and so did 2 of their elder siblings. So the 3 younger children have been stuck in this tent, trying everything they can to get out of there and get back to their grandma.
Some people are complaining that I'm not answering the questions. For me to read your questions, you need to actually mention Atheist Republic, because then I don't know if you're talking to us or you're just talking among yourself. So if you notice, the comments I'm reading are the ones that mentions Atheist Republic in it. Okay, because I can't. There's so many things. There's so many different live chats going on. I need to be able. I can't keep an eye on everything. But yeah, so let me see what the top comment says. Ryan is saying, hope things work out for them. They did nothing wrong. I personally think they should be brought back to Australia and given full therapy and rehabilitation. Rehab for sure. Jesus, I can't talk right now. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm pretty sure they've seen a lot of fucked up stuff. They should be fine if they have lived in the Middle East this long and then moved to Australia. They will see their clear improvement in quality of life and likely want nothing to do with anything that opposes it. Yeah,
Look,
but
she understands. She ends this. They end this whole article with her saying, "Don't I have the right to a normal life?" Look, they get it. Like,
yeah,
they
I know they're
what
like,
Australia
yeah,
has
this
in
is
store
fucked
for them.
up. But I just want to clarify one thing. It's not that they lived in the Middle East, because I'm pretty sure you could live in the Middle East and have a very comfy life, and sometimes you could live a much comfier life than in many places in the United States and Europe. It's not that they lived in the Middle East; they lived under ISIS. Okay, like this is not the nightmare that they went through is a nightmare for people that live in the Middle East, right? Like it's not like, oh, if you live in the Middle East, the people just come and rape you and torture you, and they just sell you off to the next person once your husband dies. Like that's not normal even for Middle Eastern standards. Okay, The people living under ISIS, that's a nightmare for most people. And the lifestyle that these girls had, people in the Middle East find that a nightmare scenario, okay? So,
well, and also another point to this was these children, when they left, their mother took them, lying to them, telling them that they were just going to go visit their father, who was in Turkey at the time. So the children left, and they ended up in Syria, in the middle of this, war-torn situation. So it's, they've been lied to. They've been abused. Even
if they weren't okay, so these girls, they were forced, they were lied to, they were, they were not told the truth. They
were married off and
they
raped.
were married off and raped. Oh my fucking! But even if they were like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Syria, right? I'm gonna go to ISIS. They're 13. I mean, come on, right? What do they know? But these kids didn't even say that. They're like, yeah, they stole us and they raped us. Can you come home now? Like, of course, of course.
I know.
Right. So the comment section has been pretty good on this, actually. Everybody supports these kids. So far, the top comments seem to support them coming back. Alif is saying these are just kids. They shouldn't be blamed for the actions of their parents. They didn't choose to go there. Yeah, exactly. Irma saying, I don't believe they will ever be normal. I don't know if, okay, they have seen a lot of fucked up shit. Dylan saying, nope, goodbye. Okay, one comment here. So Dylan is probably an atheist, but definitely not a humanist. Rex is saying, let them eat bacons and pork chops first before readmission. Oh, fuck off, Rex.
Seriously.
Jesus Christ. Andy is saying they will never be normal as long as the book of religion. This is not about that. Okay?
They're just kids. They want to go home.
Just shut up about all that.
Right.
Too fucking bad and good riddance. Oh, fuck off. Good thing that saying too fucking bad. Actually, no, too fucking bad for you, because apparently Australia is trying to get them back in. Okay, so the toxic comments are actually a little bit lower. So here they are. David saying, not a fat chance, not welcome. Sorry, David, they're coming back in. Go fuck yourself. Mike is saying, good riddance to bad rubbish. No, Mike, you're bad rubbish, so fuck you. Amanda is saying, give these children asylum in Australia. They don't need us. I mean, thank you, Amanda, for saying that, but they don't need asylum. That's their home.
They just need to go home.
They just need to go home. Okay, so there's a mixed bag, but the top ones were good. The top comments were good. Okay, so that was our last news. Godless Heathen is saying, we're having an election in May. This is optics for the far right. Oh, really? So far right maybe is using this. Yeah. Okay, well, let them show their true colors. Anyways, thank you, everyone. Sorry for some of the toxic comments, but they need to be highlighted. Ocean is saying Facebook is a cesspool. No, it's not, Ocean. It's humanity, okay? This is Facebook and Twitter. A lot of people think like it's a cesspool. No, it's just exposing what many people believe in. If it wasn't for Facebook, people would still believe these things. Thanks to Facebook, we get to see what big of a problem we have on our hands, right? These things we need to see these kind of comments so that we know that we have to deal with them. Mark is saying, I don't think it's Australia stopping them from coming back. It's a travel issue or something. Could they maybe approach the embassy over there? Yeah, I thought so too, Mark. I said that it might be a logistical problem rather than Australia.
It is a logistical problem, and they're actually even trying to. The grandmother has even said that she hopes that what can happen here is they can get them over here and immediately to the Australian embassy. So if they can't come over for whatever this logistical reason is, she at least hopes that they can find a safe haven there.
Yeah, Australia has been slow in responding to some of these things in the past, so I hope they make it up right here. Ocean is saying, true enough. Mars is saying, Armin Ali, thanks for bringing this stuff and other news to our attention. It's depressing, but people need to know about this. Oh, thank you, Mars. We'll try.
Thanks, Mars.
Thank you. Anyways, love you all. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for disagreeing with us or correcting us. We really appreciate the live chat. Honestly, like the amount of information that we get from our live chat really makes all of this experience a lot better. Like we have such an international audience, and every single news that we have different people from different parts of the world giving their commentary from the ground. So it makes this whole experience a lot better. So thank you for people in the live chat for all your comments. Sopan is saying, by the way, Ali, are you fond of vampires? My sister told me last day that she thought you kind of look like a vampire.
You know I do. Guilty as charged. And also, happy Zombie Day to everybody tomorrow who celebrates.
Happy. I don't think it's a zombie. What is it? It's something else. It's a leech. Jesus is a leech. I don't know. I forgot why, but apparently it's more accurate.
He's a leech now?
No,
okay.
Okay, but I don't know. If you know your fantasy, then you know that it's not, because zombies. Yeah, zombies are mindless. Jesus was talking. Anyways, John Brown is saying, "See you next week." By the way, John Brown is Godless Heathen? Yeah, there's the same picture. So I think John Brown on Facebook is Godless Heathen on YouTube. Yep. Okay. Beach, thank you so much. Christy, I know you're watching this later, so thank you for that as well.
Thank you.
Muscal, Shane, His Holiness, Mars, I said, Jack, Shane, Abdul Najed, who else? Izzy, is that Zarathustra? Is that Zartosht? Who else? Chris, Mark. Sorry if I missed anybody. It wasn't on purpose. I tried to read everybody. Yuval on Facebook. Love you all, and see you guys again next week. Bye.